It's day 105, and I thought it was time you met Harley. Say hello. Carl? Harley? Say hello to everyone. This is the boy. He's called Harley because he purrs like one. You might be able to hear him purring now. He is purring, I'm not sure if you can hear it. We're a bit perplexed actually, aren't we, Harl? You stay there with your cushion. Because I think it's snowing. I posted a rainbow on Facebook 2 days ago, taken from the same location. It is snow. It's very wet snow, but it's snow. Yeah. Oh God, it's the end of days. So I realise I often don't mention Victoria Wood or my show that I'm creating about Victoria Wood from one day to the next with these vlogs, because it's a long old journey and of course one has many other things to do. So today is going to be specifically sort of getting you up to speed with what's going on with the show. But when you do the Edinburgh Festival, it's traditional and helpful and kind of savvy to do a couple of previews of your show so that you don't get to Edinburgh completely cold. Well, you will be cold when you go to Edinburgh, obviously, especially in this weather. But you don't, get on stage cold, having never sort of strength tested the material with no idea of what you're doing, etc., etc. So I think most people sort of do 3 previews, sometimes 4, before then going to Edinburgh and doing a month there. Pretty much people normally have a sort of 2 days off in that entire month. That's what I'm doing anyway. Because I am me, it turns out, I realised yesterday that I'm doing a total of 10 previews before I even get to Edinburgh. No, I'm not really sure how this has happened, but I'm going to take it as a good thing, because I can't do anything about it now, it's too late. So directly after the first preview that I did a couple of weeks ago in London, the next morning, I was approached by a venue on the outskirts of London called the Waterman's Arts Centre, which I've performed at before with my band in drag, with my new musical that I'm creating with Jordan Clark. That last April that was. And a nice woman called Jan, who's been following what we do and what I'm creating, she came along to the preview and she emailed the next morning and said, do you want to do 1st of May? So that's going to be on at the Waterman's. I want to say Brentwood or Brentford, whichever one's not Essex, the sort of middle sexy one. And then Sarah Louise got an email, my director, got an email from some old colleagues at the Old Joint Stock Theatre in Birmingham, and now they want the show as a preview, and they usually take a couple of dates, and they thought it would be so popular that why didn't we do a Saturday evening and then also on a Friday evening and then also a matinee and a Saturday night the next day. So I'm doing 3 in a little chunk there in July. And one of the chaps has moved from Birmingham and he's opening a new venue in Cambridge called the Town and Gown. It's a nice chap called Carl who I've been dealing with. Carl, would you rather have a red washing up bowl or a blue washing up bowl or a yellow washing up brush and a green washing up bowl? Look that up, it's a sketch. So now I'm in Cambridge for 2 consecutive Thursdays. And I'd already planned to do a double bill with my old cabaret comedy partner, Jamie Anderson, at the Pheasantry in London, in the King's Road, where I've done lots of cabarets, and I thought that would be a really easy to organise, simple preview. So that one's been in the diary for a really long time, and that's the next one on April the 20th, which is the 4th anniversary of Victoria's death. Completely coincidentally, I didn't realise that was going to be happening. When I booked the date, I didn't realise that that was the date, but it is. And you can come to that if you're around in London, or if you want to travel to come and see me in Chelsea, and then see Jamie's show after the interval. And then Oh yes, I'd already decided, because Sarah had said a long time ago, it's a good idea to do a show outside of London because you get a different sense of different type of audience outside of London. And I'd met some really nice men from the Hastings Comedy Fringe at a festival meetup a while ago. Festival meetup organised by Simon Kane, marvellous chap, very, very proactive stand-up comedian, lovely bloke. So yeah, I'm going to the Hastings Fringe, and I'd already paid my £40 registration fee a long time ago for that. And that's in June the 10th at the Jenny Lind in Hastings, in case anybody lives near there. And then my PR man, Kevin Wilson, PR, marvellous bloke, he said, look, the Hospital Club, very posh, in London, they've approached me. Now, you can't come to this one, by the way, because it's private. But he said, they've approached me and they said, will you come and do a version of the show for their members? And it's something that I can invite reviewers to, so that you can leave to go to Edinburgh with reviews. So that would be good, wouldn't it? So if you add all of those up, I think what you get, plus the one I've already done a couple of weeks ago in London, is 10 reviews. And if you couldn't remember anything I've just said, or you didn't write it down, or you suddenly thought, what was that? I live near there. You can find all of this information on my website, paulmartin.com, or on Facebook. I've created Facebook events for each of them, which is linked to my Facebook page, Looking for My Friend. So have a look into those if you live anywhere near Hastings, Cambridge, Birmingham, or the Waterman's Arts Centre, wherever the frig that is, or Chelsea in London. And you can see the show before it even gets to Edinburgh. Now that means it might be a little bit, we might still be ironing out the kinks. We might still be doing a newer draft of the show and swapping in and out songs and stuff, but hopefully there won't be too many changes between now and August, because I don't think my brain can cope with them. My brain can hardly cope with, the amount of previews I've got to deal with, let alone changing the script again, but such is life. So yeah, that's what's going on with the show. And I think that's a really good sign. I think that's a great omen, because there seems to be an appetite for it. The guys in Birmingham and Cambridge had no hesitation in saying, do 2 shows, no, do 3 shows. And I was like, are you sure? Can I not just come and do one and make sure that's really busy? They went, no, I think you're going to be busy. And encouraged me to do what we've agreed on. They wanted more. So really chuffed. And there's a wonderful old mate of mine called Katia, who lives in Hastings, who I've worked alongside on the cabaret scene on and off for many years. And she's helping me to get people know about what's happening at the Hastings venue one. So that's marvellous. Loving you, Katia. I just think, I don't know. Every time I talk to people about this show, her old MD, Nigel, who worked on a lot of shows with her, Victoria, I mean, he said it seems the right time, which I thought was a really lovely thing to hear, but really, interesting, because Nigel and Victoria were very close by the time she died. He went to her children's wedding, I believe, and he's a member of the Victoria Wood Foundation, which is a charity, it gives money to charities that she supported during her life. And hopefully I'll be doing that too. I'll be giving money from the show once it's in profit to the foundation. I'd like to very much, if I ever make a profit. And I remember him telling me once that he, every time the people on the board for the foundation would meet up to sort of sort out what we're going to do with this money that she's left. Now, they would never get anything done because they would all end up crying because they were all close to her. They were all sad, obviously. So even though she's been dead 4 years now, they haven't got tremendously far on with what the foundation is and what it does, is my understanding. And that's really sweet. And so for a member of that foundation to tell me that he thinks it's timely to do this show, and that her official biography by Jasper Rees is coming out this October, I think is really interesting as well. There have been other biographies I think I've talked about in the past, one written by her brother, which is really very bad. And one by a guy called Neil Brandwood, which I have my own issues with, which I've talked about in a previous vlog, but neither of them are authorised. So I'm presuming that Jasper Ree's version is going to have access to people like Julie Waters and Celia Rimley, and maybe even Jeffrey Durham and Victoria's children, and maybe even her brothers and sisters. I don't know, but it seems to be, it's the authorised biography. It's the one, and it's coming out in October. So yeah, maybe there needs to be a period of mourning before people do things like this, and maybe 4 years is enough. It seems right. It seems to me to be right. I remember when she first died, people would say to me at gigs soon after, people would say to me, oh, why don't you do a Victoria Wood song? And I sang a number of songs on the very first gig I did after her death. I sang 3 or 4 songs in homage to her. I sort of, landscaped the gig around her death and what it had meant to me. And then I laid it to rest, and then I couldn't sing any more, couldn't sing them anymore. And if people asked me to, I would refuse to, but I would deliberately avoid. They would be in my repertoire folders, and I'd be flicking through again, what should I sing today? No, can't do that. It just wasn't right. It didn't seem right to do it until the creation of the show came along. So yeah, it's snowing outside. The time seems right. We all need some Vic. We need her. We miss her. So I'll do what I can to honour her. That's really all I'm doing. I hope that's what comes across when you finally see it. I hope you're going to come and see it. I'll see you tomorrow, if we're saved from the apocalypse that is our weather. You see my fences? Can you see that? Ruined. Absolutely ruined.